Hi everyone, breathe thinny deep. Tano here, the internet's busiest music nerd, and it's time for a review of the new ScHoolboy Q album, CrasH Talk. This is the newest full-length album from Top Dog Entertainment signee ScHoolboy Q, easily the gruffest and most rugged artist on the label. He had a kind of interesting artistic trajectory up until this point, with some early projects and mixtapes that didn't necessarily hit, but once Black Hippie, the collective he's a part of within Top Dog Entertainment, began getting more attention in hip-hop and the music world at large, his album Habits and Contradictions became kind of an entry point for a lot of music fans. A first introduction to Q, if you will. In my opinion, the album was a little underwhelming, but eventually Q built up from this to the fantastic record Oxymoron, which is easily one of the most cutting-edge mainstream rap records of this decade. The inventive flows and instrumentals, as well as the zany vocalizations that Q brings to the table on tracks like Los Awesome and Collard Greens. They are as bold today as they were 5 years ago. Records like this definitely made it feel like we were in the midst of a bold new era for West Coast hip-hop, and for a lot of listeners, as did Q's follow-up a few years later, Blankface. Now personally, this record did not click for me. I do not enjoy this album all that much, but I can say it's admirably experimental, with a lot of vocal layers, totally out there features, as well as beats that are really psychedelic and wild. Blankface is trippy, it's surreal, it's nightmarish at points, and it's easily one of the weirdest albums to fall under the hardcore or gangster rap umbrellas this decade. Now again, not a huge fan of Blankface, but I can at least see the appeal of it. I can see why many people hold this album in high esteem. With CrasH Talk though, I feel like I'm at a total loss. I do not see what is so exciting about this record. And not even to insinuate that I'm seeing a whole lot of excitement around this album, because I'm not. This thing is not nearly as catchy or as well produced as Oxy and Blankface. I would actually take even quite a few instrumentals off of Habits and Contradictions over a lot of beats on this thing. And the beats on this record, quite a few of them sound really flat, aggressive, one-dimensional, sort of like the types of instrumentals that you might have caught on SoundCloud a few years ago, hearing some random rapper from Florida scream over it. Now, of course, that's not what Q is doing over these instrumentals. If he was, maybe that would be a bit more exciting. All I'm trying to say is that the instrumentals feel like just kind of dated at this point. Like his plan was originally for this record to pop in and ride this wave of SoundCloud rap that's almost starting to wash out now. So whatever hope this album had of dominating in this style and putting a unique spin on it is pretty much gone. Still, going in this direction does result in some serious bangers and highlights in the track list. We have Floating with 21 Savage, as well as 5200, and even the track Water, which miraculously features what I think is maybe the best Lil Baby feature I've ever heard. But overall, these tracks are really aggressive, infectious, kind of materialistic bangers with a lot of attitude to spare. Generally though, the recording and production aren't nearly as lush or creative as they were on Q's past two projects. And not that Q needed to drop another experimental album in order for it to be good, but CrasH Talk is shockingly plain, and the songwriting on this thing is super hit or miss. Whether you're talking about a track like Num Num Juice, which has some catchy bars, some admirable refrains, a decent instrumental, but it's not built out to the point where it really makes any long-lasting impression. And when Q does manage to drop a track that's built out a bit more, it's an absolute flop, like Chopsticks with Travis Scott, which honestly just sounds like a really bad, watered-down Travis Scott leftover with one of his worst hooks to date. Chopsticks, chopsticks, chopsticks. The song Lies with Ty Dolla $ign and YG is another track that when it comes on, I am scrambling to skip, because the more I listen to it, the more the image of ScHoolboy and YG just whining about some random woman lying about them is seared into my brain. It's the corniest topic for a song. There's also the vapid, boring, tedious, and sleepy Drunk, which feels like it's trying to create this sense of being inebriated like many great songs on Oxymoron did, but the sound of the instrumental and the effects on it are just way too thin to evoke much of anything. I feel pretty much the same way about other tracks on this record that feature similarly surreal and dreamy vibes, but just end up feeling like a less immersive leftover from Blankface, like Black Folk as well as Dangerous featuring Kid Cudi. And it's unfortunate the sound of these tracks is just so lackluster, because I like a lot of the personal reflections that Q displays in the lyrics on these tracks. These themes of addiction and the dangers of drug use, depression. The song Attention feels like I'm listening to Q in his current state of fame and success as if it is a fever dream or a nightmare. Now, he does talk about some of the good things that have come along with this, like being friends with his favorite producer and getting compliments from rappers who have influenced him. But this story is also set within the context of all of the tough struggles Q had to face to get to this point, and also the incredibly dark and grimy beat that's hanging in the background. The track unfortunately fizzles out after a very awkward refrain, and overall it's a very strange ending to this album, which, as I reflect on it, doesn't really feel like it has much in the way of a flow, a theme, a concept, a narrative, a story, It's like a loose collection of very scant, very rough tracks that are super hit or miss. And given what else is out there right now, I can't really imagine listeners getting too excited over this record unless you're the type of person who's just super duper invested in the artistic trajectory of Q. If there's one thing I could give to this album, it's definitely the writing. I think Q does come through with some solid bars, one-liners, verses when he is focusing on a topic or a concept that isn't stomach churning. But even some of the flows that he decides to go with are kind of off, and his delivery seems a bit more understated than usual. His presentation and his performance on this record is nowhere near as out there and as just in your face as it's been on previous records, and honestly, I think that's a mark against this album. For the most part, this album just feels like Q is playing it super, super, super middle of the road. I'm feeling a light to decent 5 on this one. Tran. Zishan, have you given this album a listen? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you rate it? You're the best, you're the best. What should I review next? Hit the like if you like. Please subscribe and please don't cry. Hit the bell as well. Over here next to my head is another video that you should check out. Hit that up or the link to subscribe to the channel. Anthony Fantano, ScHoolboy Q, CrasH Talk, forever.